The first rule everyone around here follows is simple. If you hear someone calling your name at night, no matter how familiar the voice sounds, you do not answer. I learned that rule too late. I moved to the edge of Red Hollow in late October when the trees were already dead enough to look burned. The land out there doesn't feel abandoned. It feels avoided, like people agreed, without ever speaking, to leave it alone. The house was cheap. Too cheap. An old wooden place with a sagging porch, backed up against miles of forest. No neighbors in sight. No cell signal. Just enough road to reach it, and no reason to keep going past it. That should have been my first warning. The second warning came the first night I slept there. At exactly 1:42 a.m., I woke up to the sound of someone standing outside my bedroom window. Breathing. Slow. Heavy. Patient. I didn't move. I didn't even open my eyes at first. I told myself it was wind, or an animal, or my imagination still half dreaming. Then the breathing stopped, and a voice whispered my name. Perfectly. Not loud. Not rushed. Just close enough that I could hear the shape of the words. It sounded like my brother. That was impossible. He'd been dead for 6 years. I stayed frozen until sunrise. When daylight finally came, there were footprints beneath the window. Bare feet. Too long. Too deep. And facing toward the woods, not away. The locals never welcome newcomers right away. They watch first. At the diner, conversations stopped when I walked in. Eyes followed me longer than polite people usually stare. When I finally asked about the woods, the waitress stiffened. "You don't go out there after dark," she said. I asked why. She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned closer and said, "Doesn't matter who it sounds like. You don't answer." That night, the voice came again. This time from the tree line. My mother's voice. Crying. Calling my name the way she used to when I was a kid and didn't come home before dark. I stood in the doorway with my hand on the knob, heart pounding so hard it felt like it was shaking my ribs loose. Every instinct screamed to help. Every warning screamed louder. The crying stopped the moment I reached for the door. Then the voice changed. It sounded confused. Like it was learning. "Why, won't you come?" The words were spaced out, wrong somehow. Like someone repeating sounds without understanding how they fit together. I locked the door. By the third night, the animals noticed before I did. My dog refused to leave the porch after sunset. Just sat there shaking, ears flat, eyes locked on the trees. When I tried to pull him inside, he growled at me. Not at the woods. At me. The scratching started around midnight. Not at the door. At the walls. Slow lines dragging across wood, moving around the house, stopping occasionally, like whatever it was listening for movement inside. I held my breath for hours. At 2:11 a.m., it spoke again. In my own voice. I locked the door, it said calmly from outside. "You're safe." That's when I realized something was terribly wrong. I hadn't said that out loud. The next morning, I found scratches high up the siding, at least 8 feet from the ground. For marks, 2 evenly spaced, like fingers. I tried leaving Red Hollow that afternoon. The road bent. Not sharply, not suddenly. Just enough that after 20 minutes of driving, I passed the diner again. Same truck out front. Same man smoking by the door. He looked at me and shook his head slowly. That night, the voice didn't come from outside. It came from the hallway. Soft footsteps. Bare skin on wood. Slow breathing. And then the mirror in my bedroom moved. Not the glass. The reflection. It lagged behind my movements by a second. Then it smiled. I didn't. I learned the truth the next day. An old man finally spoke when I asked the right question. Not what lives in the woods, but how long? He said the word quietly, like it might hear him. Skinwalker. Then he added something worse. They don't hunt bodies first, he said. They hunt voices. That night, I heard my own voice calling my name from the woods again. This time, it sounded better. By the 5th night, I stopped pretending sleep was possible. Sleep means letting your guard down, and whatever lived beyond the trees knew exactly when eyes closed. It knew the rhythm of breathing. It knew the sound of surrender. I stayed awake with the lights off, sitting on the edge of my bed, listening. The house had a sound at night, old wood popping, pipes clicking, wind sighing through gaps I hadn't sealed yet. I memorized those sounds. Anything new stood out immediately. That's how I knew the footsteps weren't the house. They didn't creak. They pressed. Slow, deliberate pressure moving across the floorboards in the hallway. Bare feet again. Heavy in the heel, light in the toes, like something learning balance. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. The footsteps stopped outside my door. And waited. The voice didn't come right away. That was new. Before, it always rushed. Always tried to pull something from me, fear, concern, instinct. This time it waited long enough that my nerves began to itch. Then it spoke. Not loudly. Not close. It spoke from inside the house. I can hear you, it said. My stomach dropped. The voice was mine again, but older somehow. Rougher around the edges, like it had been used too much. I know you're awake. I hadn't made a sound. I won't hurt you, it continued. I just want to talk. The doorknob turned. Not violently. Just enough to test it. Locked. Silence followed. Long silence. Then footsteps moved away, slow, careful, unhurried. That was worse than anger. That was patience. I left the house at sunrise and didn't come back until noon. I drove straight to the library. Old towns keep their secrets in places no one visits anymore. Dusty corners. Back shelves. Records no one digitized because no one wanted them remembered. I found a thin binder marked Incident Reports, Restricted. Inside were typed statements. Some police. Some handwritten. Most unfinished. One detail repeated over and over. Subject reports hearing familiar voices before disappearance. Another line appeared in the margins of several pages, always written by different hands. It improves over time. I found one statement that stopped me cold. A woman describing her husband. He sounded like himself, but calmer. Kinder. Like the version of him before the war. That line told me everything. It wasn't copying voices randomly. It was studying memories. The old man from the diner found me as I was leaving. He didn't ask questions. He just said, "You heard it inside the house now, didn't you?" I nodded. "That means it's already mapped you," he said. "Your voice. Your grief. The people you miss." I asked him why no one warned me. He looked tired. "Because warning doesn't stop curiosity," he said. "And curiosity feeds them." That night, I didn't stay in the bedroom. I barricaded myself in the living room with a chair under the handle, every light off, fireplace cold. The dog hid beneath the couch, whining softly. At 1:17 a.m., the TV turned on. Not static. A reflection. My living room, but empty. Then the reflection moved. Something walked across the screen. Tall. Bent wrong at the shoulders. It stopped and turned toward the camera. Toward me. My voice came from the speakers. "You're getting better at hiding," it said approvingly. I unplugged the TV. The screen stayed on. The scratching started again, but this time it wasn't searching. It traced patterns. Circles. Symbols I didn't recognize, but somehow understood were not meant to be finished. The voice began narrating. "You loved this place when you were young," it said. "Before you learned fear." I didn't respond. "Your brother used to laugh here," it continued softly. My vision blurred. I remember the sound. The dog bolted from under the couch, barking wildly at the hallway. Something answered him. Not a bark. A perfect imitation of his whine. The dog froze mid-snarl, ears lifting in confusion. Then silence. Then a wet sound. Dragging. I screamed. The lights came back on by themselves. The hallway was empty. No blood. No dog. Just a single paw print on the wall. Too high. Facing inward. I didn't leave after that. I couldn't. The road no longer bent. It looped. The forest shifted subtly when I wasn't looking. Trees leaning closer. Paths changing length. Landmarks repeating in the wrong order. The old man stopped coming to the diner. No one would say why. That night, the voice didn't pretend anymore. It dropped the warmth. The concern. It spoke clearly. "We don't take you," it said. "You give yourself." The mirror rippled again. This time, the reflection moved first. It raised its hand and knocked from inside the glass. I understood then. The voices weren't invitations. They were rehearsals. The knock from inside the mirror echoed long after the sound should have died. Glass doesn't knock. It shatters. It cracks. It reflects. But this was deliberate. One hollow tap, then another. Each knock landed slightly out of sync with the reflection's movement, like the timing was close, but not perfect yet. I backed away until my shoulders pressed against the wall. The reflection watched me do it. Its eyes weren't wrong. That's what scared me most. They were mine. Same tired shape. Same little scar above the left brow. But there was something missing. Blinking. It never blinked. I covered the mirror with a blanket. The knocking didn't stop. It came through the walls instead. By morning, the house smelled wrong. Not rot. Not smoke. Wet earth. Like the forest had exhaled into the rooms overnight. Mud streaks crossed the floor, long smears, as if something had dragged itself from room to room, touching everything lightly, familiarly. Learning the layout. Learning me. I found my dog's collar on the kitchen table. Clean. Placed carefully in the center, like an offering. I tried to write everything down. Dates. Times. Voices. Details. But the journal kept changing. Words rearranged themselves between glances. Ink faded. Sentences finished themselves in handwriting that looked like mine but leaned slightly to the right. One line appeared over and over again, no matter how many times I scratched it out. "You already opened the door." That night, it didn't use my voice. It used silence. No footsteps. No scratching. No breathing. Just absence. The forest stood too still. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. At 2:46 a.m., the lights went out. Not suddenly. One bulb at a time. Room by room. Like something walking through the house, turning them off as it passed. I sat frozen in the dark, gripping the flashlight so hard my fingers went numb. Then the whisper came from directly behind my ear. Not spoken. Exhaled. I don't need to pretend anymore. The flashlight flickered. In its brief flash, I saw it standing in the hallway. Tall. Too thin. Its joints bent slightly the wrong way, like a mannequin softened by heat. Skin hung loosely, not torn, borrowed. Its face was unfinished. Pieces of familiarity stitched together poorly. My mouth, my brother's eyes, something else layered beneath, like a shadow trying to surface. It smiled when it noticed me seeing it. That was the last time it needed my fear. I ran. Not outside. Inside the house. Rooms stretched as I moved through them. Doors led to spaces they shouldn't. The bathroom opened into the forest. The bedroom's ceiling pulsed softly, like something breathing above it. The house wasn't shelter anymore. It was a throat. I locked myself in the basement. Concrete walls. One small window near the ceiling, choked with dirt and roots pressing against the glass like fingers trying to push through skin. I could hear it walking above me now. No disguise. No voice. Just wait. Each step made the beams groan. Then it sat down, right above my head. The floor creaked under its crotch. I could feel its attention settle on me, heavy and patient. Then it spoke again, but not to me, to itself. Practicing. I am safe, it said in my voice. I am home. The words sounded right. That terrified me more than anything else so far. I remembered something the old man said. They don't take you. You give yourself. That's when I understood. It wasn't trying to replace me. It already had. The voices weren't to lure me outside. They were to teach it how to live as me. The basement window cracked. Roots forced their way in, splitting the glass slowly, carefully, like they knew exactly how much pressure not to use. A hand followed. Human-shaped. Wrong proportions. The fingers bent backwards slightly as it pulled itself through. The skin peeled in places where it caught on the frame, revealing darkness beneath, not muscle, not bone, just depth. The thing stood fully inside the basement now. It looked at me. Then it looked at its hands. Flexed them. Practiced. It hurts less when you stop fighting, it said gently. My voice. Perfect now. I screamed. And it screamed with me. The sounds overlapped so cleanly that I couldn't tell which was mine anymore. That was the moment it stepped forward. Not to attack. To merge. To finish. I don't remember the exact moment it happened. That's the first thing you should know. People imagine a merge like a collision, pain, screaming, light. Something dramatic enough to mark the moment clearly. It wasn't like that. It was quiet. The thing stepped closer, and the air around it felt thick, like breathing underwater. My thoughts slowed. Fear didn't spike anymore. It dulled, like a blade worn smooth from use. It reached out. Its hand passed through my chest without resistance. No blood. No tearing. Just a cold pressure, like fingers pressing into memory instead of flesh. Images spilled everywhere. My childhood room. My brother's laugh. The smell of rain on hot pavement. Every regret I thought I'd buried deep enough that nothing could dig it back up. It wasn't stealing them. It was sorting them. Discarding what it didn't need. Keeping what made me me. I understood then why the voices got better. Why they sounded kinder. Why they sounded like the people you trusted most. They weren't tricks. They were rehearsals for empathy. You can rest now, it said. And I realized something horrifying. I wanted to. I was tired. So deeply tired. Not of running. Not of fear. Of being human. Of carrying memory like weight. The moment I stopped resisting, the basement faded. Not black. Soft. Like closing your eyes after staring at something too bright for too long. I don't know how long I was gone. Time doesn't behave the same way once you stop owning it. But I remember the moment I came back. I was standing in the hallway. Morning light spilled through the windows. The house looked normal. Clean. The scratches were gone. The smell of earth faded. My body felt lighter. Balanced. Correct. I looked down at my hands. They were steady. No shaking. No hesitation. When I breathed, it didn't catch in my chest like it used to. I walked to the mirror. The reflection moved perfectly in sync. And for the first time since arriving in Red Hollow, it blinked. The memories were still there. But they were arranged differently. Less pain. More utility. I remembered how to smile at the right moments. How to hold eye contact. How long to pause before speaking so it felt natural. The voice, my voice, came easily. It always had. I left the house just before noon. The road didn't loop anymore. The forest leaned back. Trees straightened as I passed, branches lifting slightly, respectfully. At the diner, the truck was gone. So was the old man. No one looked up when I entered. That meant I was right. I ordered coffee. Drank it. Didn't burn my tongue. The waitress smiled. Passing through, she asked. I smiled back. Just leaving, I said. I noticed things as I drove. Little details humans miss when they're busy being afraid. The way towns breathe. The way grief pools in certain places. How easy it is to sound comforting when you know exactly what people want to hear. Red Hollow disappeared behind me, and something else began. They'll tell stories about what happened there. Disappearances. Strange voices. People who left and came back, changed. They'll say the woods are cursed. They'll say something evil lives there. They're wrong. The woods don't take. They teach. Sometimes, late at night, I practice. Different voices. Different tones. A mother calling her child inside before the cold sets in. A brother laughing just out of sight. A familiar voice saying, "You're safe now." I'm very good at it. Better every day. And if one night, you hear someone calling your name from somewhere it shouldn't be, and the voice sounds warm and patient and exactly right, remember this. It's not trying to trick you. It's just learning how to be you.